bump real well. Now, there were 3 weddings and 3 baptisms held in this room. The first wedding made history. It was the first wedding ever held inside a cave. It was held in the year 19. They thought they struck diamonds. So they cut this area out right here, took it down to the local jeweler in Kutztown and asked to get it appraised. They wanted to know how rich they were. Well, the local jeweler gave them the real good news. Those crystals there are worth as much as table salt. They're your sodium calcite salt crystals. If you would drop them in water, they would dissolve and you'd get nothing but salt water. So they weren't as rich as they thought.
I see.
Now if you come towards me, come this way. This was underwater at one time. Now these crystals are called aragonite, and they only grow underwater. But if you look at them, they look like that clustery kind of stuff that you see under the ocean.
Yes,
If you look at it here, it looks like those clusters of coral that you see grow under the ocean. You see it in there?
Yeah.
Down in there, over in there, see them?
Yes.
They're down in here. Well, in fact, this whole wall is full of those crystals. They say this was known as the crystal wall, along the top and down the other side. That is the weakest point in this cave. That's called the fault line. They say if we would get an earthquake of 6.8 or better in this immediate area, this room would probably collapse. Now, we haven't had an earthquake in this cave in the year 1914.
1940?
14.
14. Oh.
They finished putting it all in by the year 1923. It took them 9 years to get it in here. And the way they got the concrete into this cave was by bucket brigade. You know what that is?
No.
That's when you have a whole line of people, you fill up a bucket of concrete, and you pass it one to another to another.
Oh, yes, yes. We watched it.
Beginning, I said when a stalactite meets a stalagmite, it forms a column. Our column is over there along that far wall. Starts here at the top, and it follows the wall all the way down to the bottom.
Holy shit.
That is our oldest and largest formation in this cave. That's 14 and a half feet tall and is approximately 500,000 years old.
Oh my God.
Now to my lower left here, it's about 3/4, 2 inches deep. And in the early years, they would drink that water. They called that the drinking fountain. And not one person died or got sick from drinking that water.
Drinking that water?
Yep,
You drink it like a straw?
yep.
So what's in there?
It's hollow on the inside. If you break them, you can just drink through
Yeah.
it like a straw.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, we do have one dead formation. That one out front was dying, but our dead formation is above our heads here on this ledge. We call this Castle Rock. That there is dead because it's not getting any moisture. Now, when I took my light away, you should be able to see light coming through it because all that's left there anymore is the shell.
Yeah, I see.
Now, on the floor in front of us here, we call these our fried eggs. These here stalagmites that were cut so tours like this wouldn't trip and fall. Now, I told you you couldn't touch anything, but if you'd like to know what one would feel like, this is the only place that I can say you can touch those if you want. If you want to know what one feels like, go ahead.
Ooh, it's soft.
It's soft?
Slippery.
No, it's not soft.
Slippery.
It's soft.
I want to make you touch it.
It's soft.
Well, now that you touched it, I can tell you it gives off a poison that eats the skin off your fingers, okay? No, I'm just kidding. It's only water.
I guess scared.
Somebody drop something here, nobody can pick up.
No.
Don't drop
Now, the next part of the tour, we're going to go down a set of steel steps and across a steel bridge. When you mix steel with water, it gets very, very slippery. So please be careful and be able to see the head of George Washington.
Yes, on the right
I
side.
see it.
Yep,
The
you see
first
it?
one.
It's on the
See
right.
On the right side of this pillar, right in there, you should see the head of George. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yes, on the right side.
Now
Yeah.
you can see it? You don't see it?
No, on the right side, Shua.
The first one.
The first one on the right side.
This
It's
one.
very
Oh, on the
first
right
one.
side?
On the
Yes,
right
all,
side.
all on the
The
right.
first one, yeah, the
see it,
first,
I see it.
yeah.
It's right here, yes, it's right there.
You see it now?
Yeah, I see it.
Yep. Now, this rock here I'm showing you to my right. This rock right here fell from up in there. We call that our cathedral dome. And when it fell, it made room for over 200 stalactites growing up there. And for them dripping onto this area down here, we call this Prairie Dog Island. Now, if you look here, there's one cut and missing here. Do you see that?
Yes.
What happened to that one is the former owner, Mr. Kohler, before he died, he requested that something from his cave be put in his tombstone.
Oh,
So today, yet you can still see about 2 inches of that at the base of his tombstone.
so he cut this and put in his tomb.
Yep. Now, above our heads here, this is our third and final proof that this was underwater at one time. That is called Cape Coral. Now, if
Yeah,
you
it's
look at
like
that, it looks like that stuff that grows under the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, it is. It's coral. It only grows underwater. Now, it's not growing because this isn't underwater, but it's staying alive by the moisture it's getting from the ceiling. Now, for this part of the tour, I need you to turn your cameras off. Put them in your pocket. Give up to 10 tours a day.
Oh. What time you start your work every day?
In the morning,
And you finish like half
goes
o'clock?
8 o'clock, and in the summer, we close at 8 o'clock.
Oh.
Now, we are the farthest back from the entrance of the cave. We're 500 feet back. We're only 60 feet under the Earth's surface up here. And this is the warmest area in the cave. It's 56 degrees up here.
Yeah, it feels warm over here.
Now you get to see all the stalactites I told you about that was growing up here.
Yeah.
Now, above our heads here, we call these our baby stalactites. These range anywhere from 100 to 250 years old. There is a legend in this cave that says if you get a drop of water on top of your head, you will get 1 year good luck. If you get a drop of water on your nose, you will get 5 years good luck.
I wonder.
Did anybody get a drop anywhere else? Their shoulder, their back, their hand, their arm? Did anybody?
Not yet.
Well, you guys aren't so lucky. There's the 3 humps, there's the head, there's the body. That's Charlie, a 3-hump camel.
Yes.
Up here's Bucky Beaver looking over his log at us. Here, this is Pokey, our 3-legged turtle. Now he's missing a leg here because our alligator here with his head in the sand got a hold of it. Now we do have the king of the jungle in our cave. We call him the king of our cave, and that's Leo, our lion, and he's right up there.
Oh.
You see Leo
Yes,
looking up
yes,
that
yes,
way?
a little bit.
When I take my light away, you might be able to see it a little better.
Yeah.
Yes, right now.
You see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Oh, from
This
there?
This is a rock that fell from this wall.
That's the same rock?
Yep,
Yes.
we are on the upper side of that storage room.
Oh, I see.
Now, do you remember the rock that had the Indian and Abe Lincoln?
Yeah.
That fell from up in there.
Oh.
That
And when
far?
it fell, it made
Oh,
room
you
for
see
our
that one?
largest stalactite
Looks like
in
a
the cave.
fish.
Wow, look how big that is.
That there we call our ear of corn.
Corn.
That there is 4.5 feet tall and weighs approximately 500 pounds.
500 pounds?
100 pounds?
Yep.
Still really.
How is it holding?
From the top, up there at the top of the ceiling, it's still alive. It's growing every day.
Oh.
But now you got to remember, that only grows about 1 cubic inch every 500 years. So you're not going to see it grow.
Yeah, maybe our not third generation, not even.
Now, here's a head, here's a little tail. That's Snoopy laying on top of his doghouse right there.
Yeah.
How many saw the movie Star Wars? Did anybody see the movie
Yeah, I
Star
saw
Wars?
Star Wars.
Well, they say this rock here reminds you of a starship.
It
from
does.
the
Yeah,
movie.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly like the starship.
Now, we do have Jack Frost in our cave, and he's right here behind us. There's his ski cap. There's an eye, a nose, there's his open mouth, and there's his puffy cheek.
I see it. I see
Do you
it.
see Jack Frost?
Yeah, the thing is. Yeah.
And up here is his breath that keeps this cave at constant 54 degrees. Do we have any questions?
No.